Hi friends, this is Caput Piso. I'm going to talk today about psychotic episodes, about the brain, faith, churches, prayers, religion, schizophrenia, thoughts, and all that. But especially what you get in church, which is prayers and telepathic communication with imaginary friends.
I fail to see the difference between Psychotic Clarence Thomas and his counterpart on Planet of the Apes.
We must take into account that we evolved mutated primates are product of coitus, born with a brain that is blank of information, beginning to accept information with the five senses, the pulvinar nuclei during the imprinting period. There is no God, there is no faith, there is no knowledge of anything. As a matter of fact, we cannot even use our legs or our arms. We cannot talk, we cannot communicate. So we have to keep in mind we are all born that way. No God, no imaginary friends, no prayers, no knowledge of languages. Because languages, of course, is we can speak and communicate with language thanks to the FOXP, the FOXP2 gene. That's the genes that we be able to, through mutations, be able to talk. But now we have the problem with religious psychosis, which is belief in imaginary friends. In other words, to have IFO-FIBA, imaginary friend or foe irrational belief acceptance. At the core of all religions, psychosis, and schizophrenias and other neurological disorders. We know this is a fact because we create thinking with the brain.
A sick brain, as those in religion and schizophrenias, can only produce sick, deluded reasoning.
All attendants to places of worship, they can be called churches, mosques, synagogues, temples, places of meditation, etc. Any place that you sit around, you might be in the forest, some rocks in there, and that's a place of meditation. That's like a temple, and that's a place in which you evoke the psychotic episodes. Because remember, when we are concentrating on something that we believe is true, all these emotions, perceptions, and all these neurons, synapses, are creating this make-believe, this dopamine-inducing psychotic episodes. It's like a little kid that is 2 or 3 years old and goes to Disneyland. And every character in Disneyland he sees and perceives as reality. Exactly the same thing happens in all person of faith, in the thousands and thousands and thousands of religious faith on the planet today. And this is no difference. Faith is no difference than schizophrenia, temporal lobe epilepsy, bipolar disorder, trauma, etc., etc., etc. So a dysfunction of the brain, which is actually temporal-limbical interference, cognitive dissonance, sensory gating deficits in the pulvinar, and all these disruptions cause the brain to perceive things that are not real as if they were reality. This happens very simple if you take drugs. If you take LSD, if you take any psychotropic substances, you will experience the same thing as a person infected with religious psychosis, my postulated HIV of the neural array, a virus. Because viruses, microbes, schistosomes and all that, and parasites can alter the perception of the brain, the perception of reality in the brain. And this is a psychotic episode. This is what you get in churches, mosques, and synagogues. And it's amazing that we have churches in the United States of America infecting the brain of children, raping the brain of children with this irrational, psychotic beliefs, which are beliefs in imaginary friends, God, angels, etc., etc., etc. There's IFOFIBA, imaginary friend or foe, irrational belief, acceptance.
The truth is, we're composed of microbes, parasites, we have viruses galore, our relatives. We have schistosomes that can attack the brain along viruses, parasites. Viruses are very dangerous and they can change our way of thinking. Religious schizophrenia and deluded thinking is believed to be caused by a born-alike virus.
As in any addiction to drugs or to anything, a psychotic episode, attending church all the time, becomes addictive. And it creates a stagnation of the brain. That's the reason you read only one book all the time. You become conservative. And in the moment that you read only one book, you have one idea, the same belief, you wear the same costumes. As you can see, the Catholic Church and all the priests and all that, imams, rabbis, and many of them, they keep these traditional costumes from thousands of years ago. They have not evolved. The rituals are the same. You can see this in the Mormon church, for instance, and in these people in Colorado City, which is a Mormon Christ-psychotic infected town. And they wear all these costumes of the 1830s, 1840s or so, and these people are drowning because they don't have idea of technology, how to protect themselves and use science to avoid these catastrophes. And you see them here. And that religion stagnates the intellect, makes people dull, theotarded, regress because of God belief or imaginary friend, and then you see these people suffering. Because the more you know, the more difficult it is for other people to lie to you and keep your mind theotarded. The more faith, the more ignorance. The more science you know, the more knowledge you have, the less the faith. Psychosis. Look at these people in the Mormons, these ladies in these gowns. Very good example.
And the women coming out of that.
These are Mormon.
And then all of a sudden it was like, my heart. Oh my goodness, this is like
They believe in some Jesus.
seriously dangerous.
See, the Mormons are stuck in the Middle Ages over there.
Started slap-
See, the outfits are from the 1830s, 1840s. They're stuck in time. They are anti-science. They are religious psychotics. They suffer from this cancer of the brain, this HIV of the neural array.
It makes it very, very dangerous to have this religious psychosis infecting the brain of children. And this you can see naturally here in the United States of America with useless and worthless churches. Because what are they good for? When they keep constantly feeding your brain with lies, with inaccurate information, with fantasies, making you believe and telling you that they're true. That these fantasies, irrational inaccuracies and lies are true. That's like saying 2 + 2 equals any number these people tell you it is, except for the truth, which is 4. You see. And then when children are constantly lied to, giving you all this bad information, then they become religious psychotic. They have racism, homophobia, and all kind of self-righteousness, intellectual stagnation, and all that. And they will grow up with these psychotic beliefs, which are racist. And they could become senators, congressmen, medical doctors, like Barnes, like the neurologist that is running to be president, Ben Carson. Now you see this guy that is intelligent, neurologist, but why would anybody that is black, that is psychotic, that realizes they have a problem with the brain, in a way, what kind of a profession do you want to get into? If you have problems with your brain, well, of course, you're going to study neurology. That is the reason Ben Carson believes in resurrected zombies that save with blood, despite being a doctor in neurology. And the guy is a psychotic. He has a problem with the brain, which is obvious to all of us. Because zombies do not resurrect and save them with blood. Snakes don't talk. The Bible is full of crap, mythological crap. But the man is a neurologist and is brilliant in his field. He's separating congenital twins. But nevertheless, mental illness, the psychosis does not discriminate. This is the problem. Christ psychosis. Clearly, you see that in Ben Carson. And churches infect the brain of children in the United States of America, keeping the country very ignorant in science, technologically dysfunctional. Because you have the leaders that are psychotic, psychotic, infected imbeciles, like you see the Congress, anti-science, there is no global warming, and nothing like that is happening. It's all zombie Jesus and God does this and that. And these people are not committed and put in mental institutions they belong. Because some begat belief and religion has not been linked to a neurological disorder that it is. This is the problem. In the moment that you connect the two, you say religious people are psychotic and they have a problem with the brain, no different than schizophrenics, then something can be done about it. And religious, hey, you are religious, they have to, you can hold public office and you treat you like any other person suffering from a neurological disorder, depression, schizophrenia, etc., etc. See.
There is no difference between the mythologies of religious text and those of children books.
So when you go to church and you kneel down and you're communicating telepathically with imaginary friend zombie Jesus, then you are experiencing a psychotic episode. And you do have problems with your brain. Keep that in mind, friends. If you don't believe in all these irrational things, you don't have these psychotic episodes, then you are mentally healthy. In other words, an atheist. Keep the brain healthy, friends. In other words, atheists, and feed it. Put a lot of information. Be skeptical, and then you'll have the greatest, happiest intellectual life ever. Pace Dio.